friends and welcome to Obsidian Soft. Today in this tutorial I will teach you how to make a cool Santa run game in MIT App Inventor. Our Santa has to avoid eating the candies by jumping over them. The game logic is inspired from the famous Google Chrome Dino Run game, so you can easily convert this into that game by just changing the images. So let's begin by downloading Santa Sprite from OpenGameArt, same place from where I got the zombie for the animation tutorial. Just click here and download it. Once it's downloaded, just unzip it, and inside the PNG folder, copy idle1 image and all the run images, the run costumes. So run 1 till run 11, and just copy them and put them in a different folder, okay? So we will be using the first costume of idle and all the run images, all the run costumes in our game, okay? Now we have to edit these images a bit. Actually, the animation is beautiful, but there's a lot of transparent pixels around it, and this leads to a problem in detecting collision, because if I use the images as they are, then it will look as if the Santa hasn't even touched the candies and the game is over. So we need to crop the images and remove all the transparent pixels around them. So I will use an online tool for this. So this one, and just choose the image. So this one by one, just choose them, trim the image and download the trimmed image, and then save it without the brackets, because the brackets create a problem when you're running the app on your device, okay? So remove the brackets and save them. So I have prepared them in this way. So you can see idle, run 1, and all of them have their transparent pixels removed. I also made a super simple background. So just white snow and the blue sky, and do not add anything complicated in it, as we will not scroll this image. Our Santa will just move his legs in his place and our candies will move towards him, and this will give this amazing illusion of Santa running. Okay, so this is just a candy image. Create a new project in MIT App Inventor, call it Santa Run. Upload all the media, and the way you can do all of them at the same time, which I finally figured out, is just drag and drop them here. So select them all and drag and drop them here. And now all of them have been uploaded. Now for screen 1, make align horizontal center, make the screen orientation portrait, turn off the title and status bar. Next, from drawing and animation, drag and drop a canvas. Choose the background image that we uploaded as its background, okay? And make font size 40, because we will be writing score on it, and the height 85%, and the width fill parent, okay? Drag and drop from user interface a button for starting the game below this canvas, rename to start button, and I'm going to make the background color black, font size 22, font bold, width is 30%, shape is rounded, text on it says start, and the text color is white. From sensors, drag and drop a clock sensor, rename to run timer, turn off timer always fires and timer enabled, and make the timer interval to 50, which is in milliseconds. Okay, this is for our running animation of Santa. Now select it and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V for Windows and Command+C, Command+V for Mac OS. Rename this to Jump Timer and just change the interval to 800, which is in milliseconds again. Now again duplicate it and rename this one to Score Timer, and here the timer interval is 200. Okay, now let's add the image sprites to our canvas. So from drawing an animation, drag and drop an image sprite, rename to Santa Sprite. Now you have to follow me exactly to get your game to work. For Santa Sprite, make the height 114 pixels and the width is 80 pixels. The picture is the idle image of Santa. Now, in its properties, make sure that it is enabled. Interval is 70. Rotate is turned off, so make sure that you turn it off and the speed should stay 0. Now select it and duplicate it again. Rename it to Candy Sprite and make the height and width both 30 pixels and choose the candy image as its picture. Now change the heading to 180 because we want it to move left, and change its interval to 100. Okay, our screen design is done, so let's go to the block section. So first let's make the global variable. So first global variable is for our costume count. Depending on it, we will change the costume, change the image of the Santa in its running animation, and we're going to give it a maths block of 1. Okay, duplicate it, make this score, but now the value is 0, and again duplicate it and make this jump up. This is the status of our jumping animation, and make this false. When the screen is initialized, so get its initialize event, we have to give a proper position to our sprites depending on the canvas's width and height. So Santa on the left side of the screen and Candy on the right side. So how to do that? Go to Candy Sprite and get its set X block, and this will be canvas's width plus 100. So canvas's width and maths 100. Okay, now duplicate this one. Candies Y. Position is a minus block, so from maths get the minus block, and here the value is canvas's height minus 100. Okay, so we want it to be a little above the lower part of the screen. Okay, next is our Santa, so we can duplicate this one and choose Santa from here, but here the X is 0 because we want it to be exactly on the left hand side of the screen. Okay, so Santa's X is 0 and Santa's Y is something similar to Candy's Y, so we can duplicate it, the minus block, but here we change it to minus 150. Okay, let's remove the unused blocks. Okay. First, let's focus on Santa animation of running. Our Santa will run by standing in one place. He will start running when the start button is pressed. So first, get the click event of start button, and inside here, I'm going to make sure that my Santa starts with the correct Y position so we can duplicate it and put it here. Okay, we are going to reset the Santa's Y position to its original state in case the game stopped while he was in the middle of a jump. And secondly, we are going to enable our run timer. Okay, so set enable to true. Now get the run timer's timer event. Our Santa has 11 costumes, 11 states of his running. So we will shift between them after every 50 milliseconds. This was our timer interval for run timer. First, we are going to check if all the costumes have been shown. So if I go to maths, I can get this equal to block. And if I go to control, I can get this if block. And I plug in the equal to block here, but choose greater than here. And here I'm going to plug in 11. And to variables, get the get block. And here, the costume count. So if the costume count is greater than 11, we are going to reset it to 1. So again, get the set block. And use the maths block to make it 1. Next, in all cases, we are going to construct the costume's image name using the costume count. Because remember, our costumes or images of the Santa running are like this, run some number. So we can use the costume count to construct that image name. Okay, so just go to Santa and get its set picture block. Okay, and instead of this candy image, go to text and get a join block. Make it with 3 slots by clicking on the cog wheel. And the first is a text block that says run. So make sure that your images are named this way, run 1, run 2, like that. And then we are going to get this costume count and duplicate this text block and make sure that you make it .png. Okay, that done. We have to now increase our costume count so that next time when we come inside the run timer after 50 milliseconds, the next costume will be shown. So set this global costume count, duplicate it, but this time it's a +1. So global costume count +1. Next is our candy animation, which should also start when the start button is pressed. So just make the speed of candy equal to 18, a positive number, and it will start moving towards the left. Okay, so candy sprite speed inside the start button, click event to a maths block 18. But what happens when it reaches the left edge of the screen? We will need to bring it back to its starting position. So how to do that? First, click on candy sprite and get its edge reached event and check whether the edge is the left side of the screen. So this is important. Go to control and get the if then block, and here from logic get the equal to block and check if edge is equal to -3. -3 means the left side. Okay, so hover over edge, get the value of edge. So edge is equal to -3. It means it touched the left hand side. So bring it back to its original position. So we can duplicate it from here, the X value, duplicate it and bring it down. Okay, that done. So our candy is moving and our Santa is running. But what about jump? We will make the Santa jump when the canvas is touched. So get its touched event. And we are going to make a procedure for taking care of jump. So let's call it jump. And call it inside the canvas.touched event. In the jump procedure, we will make the speed of Santa sprite 20. We will make the heading of Santa sprite 90 so that he goes up, and we are going to set our jump up status variable to be true. So this jump up, and we are going to make it true. Okay, and we are also going to enable a jump timer. Remember that it will trigger or fire after 800 milliseconds as we designed it in the designer view. So enable that timer. Just duplicate this true and put it here. When jump timer will go off, so get its timer event. When it will go off, we will check if Santa was going up. Okay, so from control, get the if then else block and check if the Santa was going up. So from logic, get the equal to block, and here from variables, get block, check whether jump up is true. So we can duplicate it from here. So if jump up is true, we have to now tell the Santa that he needs to come down. So how can we do that? We're going to just change its heading to 270. So we can duplicate that heading setter. Okay. And we are also going to set our jump up to false. Now, what will happen? The next time when the jump timer goes off, we are going to come inside the else block because jump up is not true anymore because we just made it false. So what will happen? We are going to stop the jump now. So we will reset the Santa speed, this one, to 0. And we are going to disable the jump timer so that the Santa doesn't keep on jumping. And we are going to use that Santa's Y position, remember? This we are going to do just to make sure that our Santa is back at his original Y position. The speed and the animation will be stopped. Now the most important part of our code is when Santa collides with the candy. So how to check for that? Get the Santa's collided with event, and here we are going to check whether it is colliding with candy. So I'm going to call Santa's procedure colliding with. Here I'm going to check whether it is the candy. So if I click on candy and go down, I can get its component. Okay, so if Santa is colliding with candy, I have to stop the game. Okay, so I'm going to set the candy's speed to 0. And I'm also going to disable my run timer because I don't want the Santa to be running anymore because the game is over. So enable to false. I can duplicate this false block from here. Okay, so what next? What about our score? So let's work on that. First of all, reset the score to 0 when our start button is pressed. Okay, so we are going to reset our score variable to 0, and we are also going to enable our score timer. Clean up the blocks a bit. So this is our start button. So score reset to 0 and score timer is enabled so that the score will be now incremented. But we have to write the code for it to be incremented. So go to score timer and get its timer event, which will run after every 200 milliseconds. And we are going to set our score to a plus of score, that is previous score, plus 1. What next? We have to write the score too. But before doing that, let's disable our score timer in case of collision too, because the game is over. So here, duplicate this one, the run timer, and choose score timer here. Okay, so let's write the procedure for writing score. So just a procedure, call it write score, and we have to call it every time our score timer goes off. I'm going to call it here. So whenever the timer goes off, I want to write the score with a new value of score that has been newly incremented. And what comes in this procedure? First of all, we are going to clear the canvas to remove whatever was written on it before. So call canvas.clear, and the next thing is I'm going to call canvas.drawText. Okay, this one. And the text is a join block from text, which is composed of a text block that says score colon space, and then we have the global score, whatever is inside score. Okay, and where will it come? It will come in the exact middle of the canvas. So how to do that? Just get a division block, plug it in here, and this is 2, divide by 2, and here we will have the canvas's width. So I can actually duplicate this because it is right in front of me, and choose canvas's width. Okay, and this is for the X position, and the Y position is canvas's height. So this will make sure that it is in the center of the canvas. Last is our game over message. So we need to edit our collision event again, because that's where we decide that the game is over. So where is it? Where did it go? Yeah, collided with. And here, first of all, we are going to rewrite the score. Okay, and then we are going to call, now we can get this from here, so we can duplicate this and bring it down here, the draw text code, and here just make this game over, and we want it to be a little below the score, the game over. So I'm going to get a maths block, the plus block, and I'm going to plug this one here and add 100 to it, so it's a bit below the score. So I'm tapping on the screen and our Santa is jumping to avoid the candies, and if he doesn't avoid, the game is over. So you can customize the game, change the color of the text or the position of it. So this is done, and I hope you have fun making this game and customizing it to your liking. If you like my classes, consider supporting me by buying me a cup of coffee. Link is in the video description. Please like and share my video with friends. Also, kindly subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss the great projects that I have planned for you. Thank you for watching my video. Have a good day and goodbye.